video to share with you guys today. And my coach Terry was supposed to be on to share with us, and she had we kind of I asked her too late, and it was my fault, not her fault. And so anyway, last night she was gracious enough to do everything on video, and so I'm really excited to show it to you guys and just have you hear from her. And she's so wise and just a really great person. But before that, go ahead and type something in the chat that you are grateful for today. And I am grateful to be back. I know last week, unfortunately, I had to cancel because I was traveling and could not make it work. And it was our first time in 29 weeks that we did not have Wednesday morning. And so I felt off like all week long. So it was a weird week, but I am very grateful to be back and grateful for you guys hopping on today. So type one thing in the chat that you are grateful for today. And I know several of you are driving, but so be careful, please. Oh, Brooklyn, that's good. Your children. Monica, grateful for your family. Oh, Adam's on. That's fun. Grateful for our new house. You should be grateful that I'm strong to move all your stuff. You guys, we are moving in our house in Charleston right now, and it literally looks like a bomb went off in here. Adam's working upstairs in his daughter's room, and so he is doing coaching calls with a big flamingo painted picture in the background. And I stole the office, but we have no furniture whatsoever in the living room currently. Like, if I should just for fun show you it's a total mess, and I do not operate well in a mess. So we only have what's today? We only have 2 more days left. We move on officially on Friday. So yes, it's exciting. Talisha, hi, life and health. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so keep sharing what you guys are grateful for, and I'm going to get started and play this video from Terry. And so hang with me. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. And her, for some reason, her it's a little fuzzy, but I think she still looks beautiful. Last night when she sent it, I looked at Adam. I'm like, how does she look so good all the time? Like, her skin is perfect. Her face is perfect. She's perfect. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone. I am so sorry I'm not there in person with you. However, I am honored to be here for Dana Gentry and to have a little bit of discussion with you on this Wednesday morning from Oklahoma. So it's nice to be able to speak. I've known Dana for many years now, and I've had the pleasure of working with her, and I'm so grateful for her because of the things that she does for me and helps me. And when she said, hey, Terry, listen, we're talking about mindset on Wednesday morning, and I know your schedule is crazy, but could you be here? And I just couldn't get it rearranged this week to do it, and I would do it in a heartbeat, and I will come back anytime for her. And I just want to say a few words. She said, we're talking about mindset. And I said, well, I don't know what Terry Foster Allen would know about mindset at all. None of us struggle with that, right? Crazy. I just jotted some things down. I'm not going to go from just an outline or anything like that. Sometimes it's better when we speak from the heart. And so I'm just taking a few moments today to slow down, and I'm going to talk and reflect with you through this idea of mindset and why it's important. I actually pulled back up a podcast that Debbie Frapp and I do together called Matters of Influence. And one of the things that we did a podcast on was positive mindset matters. And I believe this might have even been recorded before the happenings of the pandemic this year. And so much of it was appropriate. So I went back and re-listened to what she and I said. I even went back and pulled some notes on energy, because I really believe that energy, and of course, energy are not the things that we can see. We all know that, right? We can't always see, feel, and touch energy. Energy totally manifests itself in our body, and it's what can really affect what's happening in our well-being and in our mindset. So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to tell you about a few things that I've written down And I'm going to tell you a few things, maybe even give you an exercise to walk away with today, right? The way we view things is the way we do things. The way we view things is the way we do things. That's a John Maxwell quote. And, you know, whatever it is we are seeing, or the way we believe about something in particular, we adopt that in our doing. I hope that makes sense to everybody right now. I'd be going, does everybody understand that, right? So the way that we view things are the way we do things. So if we don't change the way we view things, and we don't have people that are helping us with our view, right, our bird's eye view, then we're going to get caught up in doing what we believe. And sometimes that might not be the appropriate action. So I wanted to open up with that. And a positive mindset is a daily habit, and it's a practice. And I know I used to think of daily affirmations as a bunch of just crazy words, right? Oh, what are those, you know, people thinking? And I don't know. I mean, I'm older than probably most of you watching this. And I go back to Saturday Night Live used to be kind of a big deal when I was young. And I can remember them doing the skit where they're looking in the mirror and they're going, "You are great, and you are wonderful, and you are beautiful." And I look back on that and I crack up because now I understand it, right? It is that positive affirmation, setting that tone every day for what you are going to feel and enjoy and how you're going to act. It's a daily habit and a practice. And I'm not saying get up and look in the mirror and start talking to yourself. It's from the moment you open your eyes, where do you control the place that your mind goes? I can share from personal experience that I remember waking in the morning with this overwhelming feeling of anxiety. And it was the moment I woke up, I felt like I had to take action, like I couldn't stay in bed and just enjoy the quiet anymore. You can probably see me thinking about that. Like I can visualize how I had to like leap up and get started the minute my eyes were open. And it really was not the best start of my day. It put my day in action, which was great. I don't have a problem with action. However, it was the wrong action and with the wrong belief system in place the minute that I got up. It was that I've got to get this done. And if I don't get it done, then what if? Versus waking up and just being thankful. And I started changing that by just waking up every day and literally in my head voicing what I was going to be thankful for that day. I would also set in place the wins I wanted to accomplish for the day. So another note that I jotted down for myself was make sure you're celebrating wins. So define what those wins are in the morning, even if it's one. Sometimes we focus on the one thing. Anybody ever heard of that book? We focus on one win. What is one win that if I did it today, I would feel so good by the time the day was over. And then always celebrate that win at night. What does that do for you? It helps reinforce those positive beliefs that I get things done, that I really can win, because we let all the things that we didn't get done take precedence over the things that we wanted to get done. And our brain loves to mess with us, and it loves to make us think we're failures. So it wants us to forget all those good things that we've done, right? Some of you that have a spiritual belief, we know that spiritual warfare can go on. And that spiritual warfare about defeating us, throwing us backwards, making us feel behind, giving us depression, senses of anxiety, all of those things that build up over time. We know that the warfare in the world wants us to naturally feel that way so that we're defeated. And we just can't be defeated. We have to take care of that ourselves in our own personal way. And the way that it manifests itself, this conversation could go on for hours. The way that it manifests itself is not just mentally, but it manifests itself physically. I have personal experience with this too. I can tell you at a time in my life, it was around 11 years ago, that I can remember that this was my time. My kids were in college. I had 3 jobs. I was a team leader. I was an operating partner. And I was also starting my coaching career, probably a year into it. And it was my time that it was a turnaround season for me. I was going to turn it around. I was going to get my financial map created, my financial map flowing, which is another discussion, creating my circles and streams of income. If Mo Anderson could do it at 55, I knew I could have done it at my age, right? It was time to start over. And I literally found out all of that hard work, that waking up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, not being able to shut it down at night, my brain constantly going. It manifested itself in my body, and it created major challenges with serotonin and my adrenaline. And I literally had to get on medicine to get that corrected. So all of these things that sometimes we feel like physically we can get this thing moved forward, when emotionally it might just take us some time to slow down and think about things, it will manifest itself in our physical presence, in our illness. So how big is mindset? Mindset, a focus, mindset totally manifests itself inwardly. In our podcast, Debbie and I start talking about chakras, and that's part of that physical manifestation. If you want to know what chakras are, write that down. We can get back to that later, but I wanted to touch on how it affects our physical body. So kind of like a sermon, here are 3 points. Number 1, create a positive mindset. Whatever that takes for you. If you just write that down, find a way to create a positive mindset. This is about having a great career, not a great year right now. I heard somebody say that I take no credit for everything I'm repeating back for the most part, but wow, this is about having a great life, not a great day. This is about having a great career, not a great year, right? And some of us are having a great year despite everything. And there are many of us, and believe me, I think about many of you that are homeschooling and dealing with children and putting them in school and working, and much like my children, that dad's upstairs in the office working and mom's downstairs trying to manage the best she can, right? And possibly trying to go to work. So you guys have done a great job adapting well. I want to honor you for that. So let's think about this in terms of, let's have a great life, not a great day. However, it starts with every day. It starts one thing at a time. So practice gratitude. I opened up this recording giving some great gratitude to Dana, and I mean every word of it. And if we're not going through our day, catching ourselves, making sure we're saying thank you to people, or saying, you know what, I so appreciate that. Sometimes when I get on some of the calls that I have to be on that are group calls or training calls, that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what could I be doing better with my 2 to 3 hours of time? I start off, when I catch myself feeling that, I'm thinking, what is the one thing I want to take away from today? I'm so thankful I get this opportunity, right? Find a way to be grateful when you catch yourself getting into that mode of not being grateful, or dread, or anxiety, or whatever that is. So connect yourself with something bigger than yourself. Gratitude always raises you up and changes your mindset. Try that one on for size. And you know, it's not just saying I'm grateful. You know, it's real easy for us to say I'm grateful. It's real easy for me to open up a Zoom and say, hey, Dana, you're awesome. I think I'm grateful for you and what you do. And I say that to my clients a lot because I really am grateful, but it's really knowing what you're grateful for. So I'm going to use Dana as an example. So what am I grateful for about Dana? I'm grateful for the energy that she brings to so many people. To you all that are listening to this, and this might be an aha for you. Don't just be grateful and say it. Think about why I'm grateful. When I get up and say, God, thank you for this new day. Why? Because I woke up. I'm grateful because I'm alive, right? And when I get a little anxious with something going on, maybe it's just watching my grandkids overnight, right? Which I absolutely love to do. And if I had pictures, I'd hold them up. Dana can show this to you later. but I have these 4 amazing little human beings that are 4 and under, and I don't need to be my age with little children. I know that. But am I grateful when they get a little rowdy or they get a little rambunctious or they don't want to go to bed or whatever it is at Gaga's house? I just think, man, God, I'm so grateful that number one, I'm here and I'm celebrating with them. And my first husband was not as lucky enough to be on this earth celebrating with them and seeing them. And thank you, God, that I'm here representing them. And it changes my whole attitude. I'm not going to cry on that one. I've already touched on energy. I made myself a note about that. You know, and kind of going back to this gratitude thing, there are people that find their strength on what's outside of them, not what's on the inside of them. That's a whole different form of energy, right? So when you're giving gratitude to people, you're probably touching their inside, if that makes any sense. So focus on changing not only your inside, but what can you do during the day to change other people's outside? And you're probably thinking, well, Terry, what's this got to do with mindset? Well, the gift of gratitude is your biggest gift because it helps reshape and remold the way you're going to think throughout the day. Some of this goes back to maybe some of the things that are like popping up now in our lives. You know, it's not just about COVID, and it's not just about a year of being limited in what we might have been able to do this year. And some of us are having the best years we've ever had financially, and we're feeling exhausted. And it's not really about that. It's not about what's happening. It's about what is surfacing that might be coming up from our past, that are things that we've had to deal with before. And this year might be even reminding us of some fears that we had, or it might be reminding us of some mistakes that we made, or there might even be a fear of failure, or some bad times we've really had financially, and we never want to go there again. And we're all of a sudden finding ourselves, what if we're slipping back into that? I don't want to be there. And it's changing our mindset. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if there's some baggage there, you might want to unpack it, and unpack it with somebody that you can unpack it with. So if there's some weird feelings, if there's some health problems, if there's some anxiety, if there's some uncontrollable things happening in your life, I'm going to encourage you to unpack that with somebody and work through that a little bit. This is a form of reframing, actually, which is point number 2. You know, clarity helps people prioritize. So when you reframe the way you're thinking, we all have negative thoughts and emotions naturally. It's the way we're built. In fact, some of those thoughts and emotions are what protect us in the fight or flight era. When you feel something negative or you feel like you're really strong about something, it could be protecting you from something you shouldn't do. So we're forged through loss, actually. Who we are today is forged through what we've been through. And you have to know the difference between what can naturally help you and what can hurt you. So I'm saying I don't know the answers to that for all of you today, but I want you to embrace that we're forged through loss. We're forged through actually the baggage that we brought forward that we may need to unpack. And sometimes by unpacking that baggage, we find things. Have you ever overpacked and then you get to your destination and you go, why did I bring 4 more sets of clothes? That's like unpacking baggage, right? Why did I bring 2 more pair of shoes? I didn't need those. I don't even wear that color, right? So sometimes you have to look at things when you're reframing and go, what am I trying to make this mean, right? Not what does it mean, but what am I trying to make it mean? What am I trying to make this year mean? We're busy. What am I trying to make we're busy mean, right? Always question yourself. Go back and say, what am I possibly taking for granted? And what am I trying to make things mean? And so what is an example of a reframe? It's kind of like a limiting belief. Instead of saying, there aren't enough listings on the market, We have to reframe that by going, yeah, there's plenty of listings on the market. It's up to me to go find them. What's my first step? That's just an example. Okay, I'm going to use real estate for that. One last thing on reframing, and I'm going to use a Brene Brown quote. Perspective is a function of experience. Perspective is a function of experience. I'm just going to let that sit with you. Number 3, random act of kindness. And you might want to go back through these points, and in your last few minutes together that I'm going to leave with you and Dana, and can all brainstorm some of these points that I've brought up. Number 3, random acts of kindness. Create a giving community with yourself and with the people around you. How can I give today? Maybe that's how you want to start your morning. Instead of getting up and going, thank you. Maybe you want to say, how can I give today? What's one thing I can do to give today? And it might be nothing more than going and getting somebody's coffee for them, emptying the dishwasher, or folding a load of clothes, or paying somebody's Starbucks ahead of you. How can I give today? Opening a door for somebody, putting groceries in the back of somebody's car that is older, right? Yeah, people like me, maybe older like me. So random acts of kindness. What kind of acts of kindness can you perform each day? It needs to be random. Now, all 3 of these things that I mentioned to you, and just roughly, number 1, creating a positive mindset. Number 2, reframe. And number 3, random acts of kindness. I could put those in reverse order and say, how do you adjust yourself daily? What random act of kindness am I going to do? What do I need to reframe when I walk into a situation that I may be dreading, or I don't want to do, or have a bad attitude about? And then number 3, creating a positive mindset around that. And always review at the end of your day what you've done, what you feel totally connected to, what you would change, and always celebrate the win. Today, my win was finding a break in my schedule to record this call so that I don't miss the World Series tonight. Just saying, I'm a baseball fan. No team is out there. Here's my ending quote, and I'm going to use John Maxwell. Every heartache or failure carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Every heartache or failure carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Love you, Dana. Can't wait to meet all of you all in person one day on a live Zoom. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a blessed rest of your week. If you guys need anything, my email is Terrie, Terrie, @kw.com. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. So before we wrap up, a couple of things, and I'd love to hear an aha. No, we only have 3 minutes left, but Terrie actually sent me this, and she said this, I feel like you should share this too, because I just love this quote. One day in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. And I think that that's pretty cool. I think it's good to think about with mindset. I would love for you guys to type in the chat, if you can, maybe something that Terrie said that struck you, or an aha that you had from her. And while you're doing that, I'll share a couple that I had. The first one was when at the end, when she said review at the end of the day. Hopefully I'm not the only one that struggles with that. At the end of the day, I am done and I go to bed. And so she made me think about that, and just reviewing at the end of our day and being better about that and celebrating our wins that we had. Rochelle said, I love the idea of defining a win first thing in the morning. And yes, and then celebrating it at the end of the day. Same. I love that too. Monica said, find the why in your gratitude and celebrate the wins. Yep. Celebrate the wins were a big win. We are not slowing down enough to celebrate the wins. What else? What other ahas did you guys have? I liked that she talked about random acts of kindness. This is something I love to do. And I need to do more of it. I need to find more time. But I was just sitting here thinking, it's kind of strange and neat that when you do something for someone else as a random act of kindness, then have you guys ever noticed that then typically they may do something also, or they may do something back for you and or for someone else? And so this is like a silly little example, but our next door neighbors here, we're moving, I told you guys, and I love our neighbors. That Adam has lived in this house for almost 4 years, and the people that live next door, Will and Mackenzie, we just like adore them. We've had so much fun living next door to them, and they're awesome. And unfortunately, his mom passed away just 2 weeks ago, maybe. And they were traveling to see her and stuff. So anyway, it was like the first kind of cool night. And when I was here in Charleston, and I made a bunch of chili, and so I took a bunch of chili over to them, and Fritos and cheese and all kinds of stuff. Does anybody else like chili, Fritos in their chili besides me? By the way, I do. I love it. And anyway, and then the next day, she made homemade pumpkin bread and brought this huge thing of pumpkin bread and sat it on our front porch. And Adam was like, I hope she didn't think that she had to do something for us just because we did something for them. I'm like, no, but it's a nice like domino effect. When you do stuff for other people, then typically they do it. They do stuff for other people too. So yes, I love We Are Forged Through Loss. Love that, Rochelle. Love that. And then Amanda said, don't focus on what you don't get done, celebrate the wins. Yeah, celebrate the wins was a really, really big win for everybody. So I know we're out of time. I would love for you guys, as your homework, to go on Facebook and find Terry Foster Nowlin and just shoot her a message today. And that can be your way of practicing gratitude, and tell her something specifically that you were thankful for, and tell her to come back in person so that we can have her back to chat with everybody. She's made such an impact in my life. And I just love her so much. So thank you guys for being on, and I will see you next Wednesday. And if you need anything, just share in the Facebook group. And thanks for sharing. I know you guys are doing a ton of sharing. So great to see you, and have a great rest of your week. See ya. Bye.